Hello there, I'm Cutsy and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be blinging out the nails that we started in the last video, and we're going to be looking through some of these fun charms that I got. We're also drinking lots of caffeine. Today's caffeine of the day is a Snowball. It's an Amaretto white chocolate latte. I'll have the recipe in the comments below. Or excuse me, the description below. And we're also going to be talking about some true crime cases, so you aren't just staring at me glue stuff onto nails. We're going to be using some clear acrylic today to make kind of a frosty design on one of our nails. And I'm going to use the Candy Lover polish again to do my nail art. And today I'm going to be using, this is a lighter pink, it's the same pink that I have on my fingernails. It is shade 002, and day 5, and my nails are still looking pretty good. So, alright, let's get started. I'm going to put a little bit of polish down in my little paint tray, and I'm not quite sure, I've never used this for nail art before, so not real sure of the consistency. I'm going to have to, I'm going to try first by thinning it out a little bit. So get enough polish in there. And then I'm going to take 1 to 2 drops of this pure acetone and mix that in really, really well. Try to thin it out so we get a nice consistency so we can make nice, smooth, straight lines with our paint. And it'll cure and dry nicely. But still, it have something for the clear acrylic to adhere to when I do the frosted design. So, alright, well, here we go. We're going to mix that up. And another thing that I highly recommend anytime you're doing nail art is to get a set of decent brushes. The thinner, the better. If you want a nice straight line, this is one of my favorite brushes. I, in fact, would like a little bit longer brush, but this one too. Nice and thin, but that long brush is going to really help you give nice straight lines. And this is my jewel tool. It's got a wax end and a little metal poker end to move stuff around. Here's some of the new charms that I got. I got some crystal hearts. We're going to be using these little small AB crystals also. They're nice and iridescent. And I use a nail that I glued to an orange wood stick. That's my scooper. So I've got my little dish right here. This just is always easier for me than trying to get it out of the big container. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to empty the supplies and the charms that I'm going to use on the nails down into this. And let's get started with our chitty chat today, which is about true crime. It's one of my interests, and I was watching some documentaries on YouTube the other day, and I came across one that's from not too far away from me. But while I was watching that one, I found another one that's a current case, and they both had to do with that. It's a dating app called Grindr. And I had never heard about it until these two cases. The first one takes place in Bay City, Michigan. The victim was a young man named Justie Stilwell. And on September 18th, he didn't show up for work, and his family and friends reported him missing. So police start to look around, see what they can find. They find video footage from September 14th that shows him leaving his house in Bay City, but he never returned. Police found out that he was supposed to meet a man off of the app known as Grindr. Later that day, a teenager was walking along the Saginaw River, and happened upon some body parts. There was a foot sticking out of the water, so we called the police immediately, and unfortunately it was ID'd as Justie Stilwell. A friend told him that he was supposed to meet a man with the screen name Bored, B-O-R-E-D. Police tracked that username to a man named Robert Tweedley Jr. They tracked it through the app. On September 25th, Michigan State Police show up to Robert's house with a search warrant. They searched the house, they searched the garage. Meanwhile, Tweedley was cuffed and detained. Eventually, he confessed to the police that Justie had come into his home to visit, but shortly after wanted to leave. This made Robert angry, so he pushed Justie down the stairs and strangled him until he was gone. Then he panicked, so he tried to get him back upstairs with a rope, but he couldn't do it. He was too heavy. He wasn't able to do it by himself. So he ended up going to Walmart and buying an axe and bags, and he was caught on camera doing that, so they knew that he had made those purchases. He then went home and cut him into parts and then bagged them up and dropped them off, scattering them around Bay City. He told police he had dropped the head near the boat launch and legs and arms in the Saginaw River, which explains why the teenager ended up finding the foot there. Poor kid. 2 days after his arrest, he was charged with open MR, dismemberment, and mutilation of a body. His attorneys are trying to get him evaluated so they can use the defense that he is mentally ill and was not responsible for his crimes at the time. Now, my pick on this is really anytime anyone takes the life of someone else, especially in such a horrific way, don't they? I would imagine they would be mentally ill. But I guess it's that he's able to be fit to stand trial and understand what he's being charged with. Do you understand right from wrong? Yada yada. Well, the further you get in the case, you find out that he had some mental illness issues for years that his family and friends noticed, but nothing that they ever thought that he'd be violent with. Now the 14th is guessed to be the day that he unalived Justie, or somewhere around that time. It's between the 14th to the 18th when he was reported missing and he dumped the parts. But on September 15th, he went on Facebook and posted under a different username about how tired he was because he had been on a cleaning kick again. And the only problem was that he didn't have the right supplies. He put an LOL after there, haha. But then he also posted some very odd posts about ending his own life and different things like that. Now, pause for a second. Right here, after I put the gel polish on and painted those straight lines, I'm using the clear acrylic before I cure it to kind of give it some texture and make it a kind of a frosty, neat texture on there. And you'll see when it comes out after we brush it off. The powder sticks and it looks really cool. I'll be doing some other nail art like that using the same technique later on in some other videos. But anyway, so there was a history of him having some depression issues, obviously, and some different things like that. Well, oddly enough, I watched a little short news segment from Law and Crime channel about maybe a week ago about this. And today, when I happened to get home, I open up my phone, and on my Facebook, it says that there's an update in this case. And the update is that they have found Robert Tweedley has gone under evaluation and been found competent to stand trial. So March 21st starts his trial for the crimes committed against Justie Stilwell. So hopefully this young man gets justice. And yeah, so Grindr, he hooked up with him on Grindr and sounds like got over there and kind of got a bad feeling. Obviously it was a true feeling, and went to go leave, and this man had already decided what his fate was going to be. Well, then the second one, the whole reason I actually started and was looking, I was trying to find a documentary on something that happened also in the whole Michigan area. And this one happened back in 2019. This case has already been through court, charged, done, it's a done deal. But this case, the victim's name was Kevin Bacon, and the perpetrator was a man named Mark Latunski. And I will link in the description these two stories so you can actually watch. There's a 3-hour video with Latunski's complete confession, an interview with the cops. It's quite interesting, and it puts a lot of perspective on this case. And here, pause a little bit. I had to add a little extra polish because it was just a teensy bit thin. And for what I'm going to do next, I really do need the polish to be thin and go on nice and smooth and stick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, this is also where we get to learn that if we don't like what we're doing, we are only a little bit of alcohol and a nice, well, at this point I have to use a cotton ball because I'm out of the lint-free wipes, but a little bit of alcohol and a cotton ball or a lint-free wipe, and you can start all over, baby. So anyway, the name of this documentary was Cannibal Murderer Who Used Dating App to Lure College Student. The victim's name was Kevin Bacon. He went missing on Christmas Eve 2019. Kevin was found in Latunski's basement, bound, hanging from his ankles, and he'd had his genitalia cut off, parts of it. And how this all came about was he was supposed to show up at his family's Christmas the next day. When he didn't show up, they called because it was completely unlike him to miss a family event. Well, when they called, they were calling friends, and a friend stepped forward and said, I got a really weird text message last night. And it was from someone claiming to be the person that Kevin was going to meet, and that he had taken his life. And he said it was so outrageous, I just didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke, and because Kevin was always joking and things like that, and just kind of blew it off. And now that he's missing, oh my gosh. So the police the police ended up finding his car and all of his belongings in a parking lot in a nearby town, Swartz Creek. They traced through the Grindr app, because the Grindr app has all of your locations, and again, they went through, they figured out the messages between the two men, and they figured out that Kevin was at the house of Latunski out in Bennington Township. And so they went over there for a welfare check, because at this point, they still didn't know if that text message was just them being weird or whatever. Well, when they went out there, Latunski was completely cooperative and let them look through the house, and that's when they found Kevin in the basement. So, of course, they bring Latunski in, and he's obviously having some kind of mental issue. He's rambling, he's talking all sorts of nonsense, he's saying that he isn't Mark Latunski, that his name is Edgar Thomas Hill, that he is from royalty, and just all this just crazy talk. Finally, they got him to explain his side of the story. And what Latunski said was that he and Kevin had discussed what Kevin wanted to do. And he was very vague, but he said that Kevin wanted all of this to happen, and that he wanted Mark to do this so that it was easier on his family, and he didn't have to be the one to do it. So he was alluding to that Kevin asked him to end his life. Well, the police knew that wasn't true, because when they read through all the text messages, what they did find out was that Kevin had believed that they were going to try and live out their fantasies. And that was to have we'll call it a party with multiple people at Latunski's house. And Latunski was going to attend with him, obviously. But when he got there to pick him up, Latunski was the only one there. And then when they got back to the house, again, there was no one there. So this was a trap. And we don't know what happened after that. But soon after that, he ended Kevin's life. He also said that when he met him in Swartz Creek in the parking lot, that Kevin had even gone so far as to change all of his clothes in the back of his van and asked Latunski to take his clothes and put them all in his car and lock them up. That was highly unbelievable. And then that's when they left to go to his house. It was found afterwards that... Now, this welfare check was done on December 27th, so 2 days after Christmas was when they found him. But it was found out afterwards that, again, Mark had a long history since about 2012 of being in and out of mental treatment facilities, of having mental health issues, not wanting to take medicines that he needed. And again, it makes you wonder, was this the first time that he did this? It was found out that he had been fantasizing about eating people, along with exhibiting many, many other disturbing issues. But no one, again, believed that he would ever do something like this. But after finding out the horrific things that he did, they did wonder too. Was this the first time, if he hid this so well? They also found out, when the police arrived and found Kevin, they found that Latunski had built a room in his basement specifically for doing exactly what he had done. They also found out that there was a police report from, I believe it was about a month earlier, where another man had been found running out of the house, screaming and running down the road. And when the police were called, and I believe Latunski was chasing after him. When the police were called, Latunski's story is that he and this man had hooked up on Grindr, and that he had let him try on a very expensive leather kilt, because he was into that stuff. And that this man ran out of the house, and he thought he was stealing it, and he was going to let him steal his kilt. Well, the man ran to the neighbors, and the neighbors called the police, but when the police got there, he was an out-of-town businessman, and he was embarrassed and didn't want any of his family or friends, knowing what happened. I mean, you can imagine. And so he ended up not making a police report, and nothing was ever done about it. So there was obviously history of him trying to do this before and possibly, and failed. This man got away, thank goodness. In the end, Latunski was arrested. He was taken into custody, put in jail, and then for the next 3 years, he was evaluated and found to be incompetent to stand trial. Waited a few months, was reevaluated again, was deemed competent to stand trial. So things started to move forward, then boom again, incompetent again. Deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial. So another couple months go by, he gets reevaluated, he's again competent. Same thing for 3 times in a row, until eventually he was actually permanently, or at least through the trial, mentally competent enough to stand trial and understand what was going on for the unaliving of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon. So these cases were just kind of scary because they were so similar. You have history of 2 men with severe mental illness. I believe Latunski ended up getting diagnosed finally with schizophrenia. And so, it's a slippery slope. He knew to be secretive, and he knew how to trick someone into coming to him. He used this app to meet people because he probably knew that some of these people, were trying to keep their activities on that app, or the people that they met up with on the app, private, because it wasn't just about dating. I don't think many people were looking for relationships on Grindr. But you have these 2 men who are very mentally ill and sick, and they've taken lives, and it's scary to think how many more are out there, because who knows if this was their first time or if this was their 15th time. It's just so scary. I've never in my life used a dating app. I'm Gen X, so we just meet people outside, I don't know. It's scary. I am happy that Justie will hopefully get justice when Robert Tweedley goes to trial. I was really, really shocked when I read these. But like I said, I will put the links in the description box, because the Latunski video, it's over 3 hours long, but it gives you every detail of this case. So if you're into true crime like me, then definitely check it out. The one about Justie Smollett is maybe 15-20 minutes long. It's from Law and Crime, and it really is good. It kind of sums up everything about the case without getting too gross. But other than that, I stayed up way too late last night watching all of the sad live feeds of the plane crash. And my heart goes out to every single person that was on the plane and in the helicopter, their families. I mean, gosh, you've got kids and parents on there, and it really, really kind of brings you home when something like this happens. You start to realize just what's important. Makes you kind of do a double take about what's important and what's not. What's worth holding on to and being angry about and upset about, and what's worth just getting up, walking away, and doing what you've got to do for yourself and your happiness and your well-being, and making sure that the people that you love know that you love them every single day before you leave. And that's it. Seeing so much anger and so many people upset on social media about things that they just don't need to fight about. Fighting about it, you're never going to convince each other. You're never going to do anything except create more divide by acting like that. And yeah, sad day. I really, really hope. The one that got me the most was there was a man that right after the crash had happened, he'd been interviewed by a reporter, and he was sitting in the airport and he had his phone. And the reporter asked him if he had heard from whoever he was waiting for, and he said, "Well, it's my wife." And he said she had just texted me and told me, "We're getting ready to land. We should land in about 20 minutes. And she was already very uncomfortable with flying. She was scared to fly. But she had to do this for work. And so he was, waiting to pick her up that evening. And he said he wondered if something was going on, because when he had sent texts back to her, they were sent, but they were never delivered. And so he wondered if something had happened. And so they interviewed him again this evening, and he said he was just waiting for them to bring her to them so that they could take her home. And I just thought, I thought that's so sad that here she was, already scared to go on this, and it happened to be the last day that she was on this earth, and just wow. So that's all. That's it. Tomorrow's Friday, or today's Friday now, actually, and it's the weekend, and hopefully I'm going to come up with some fun, crazy designs for you this weekend. I'm trying to work on getting my website up still, but until then, I'm going to try and do some Valentine's nails and just have fun. I've got some really cute ideas. I've been getting some inspirations from the internet, and got some neat charms and stuff. I also want to do a little nail art haul with you, and also show you some of the nail saver tools that I've gotten that I'm going to carry on the website. I've got some really cool stuff that's easily accessible, and I also kind of have a funny Temu story too, because I decided to order something off of there that I thought was really cute, and it ended up being not even close to what I thought it was going to be. And so, yeah, that was kind of funny. My friends got a big kick out of that. So yeah. So I'm going to finish the rest of these nails, and I will play a little bit of music for you, and I'll get working on the next one. So, before I go, these hearts right here, I don't know what they're made of, but you'll see after I cure them. I've got a really neat idea that I'm going to try with those too, because I saw one of my favorite nail pages is called Nails by Val. And she has her own press-on business. She does some beautiful, beautiful art. And really gives a lot of tips and tricks to people trying to start out. But she was doing something today in a video that I watched where she was sculpting little clear hearts like this on a nail. But she was using the sculpting gel and curing it. And then taking polish and painting over the whole thing. So it was one color, but it was 3D, and it looked like these hearts were kind of lifting up out of the nail. And it was so cool looking. Well, when I was looking through all my beads of my stuff that I've gotten, I saw they're little kind of frosty clear resined hearts. And I just glued them on that nail. And so I am wondering if that would work similarly to the nails or the sculpted hearts that she did. If so, I'm really excited. I hope it will look really cute. So I think I'm gonna try that on my next video. I might try it by myself first so you don't see me fail quite so badly, but I will try it. And here I'm just using some of my new crystals. I've gotten some really cute ones. Now, don't get frustrated when you're doing crystals because they slide around all over the place. I think I showed the glue that I used, and I love this glue. You have to cure it under a UV or a LED light, but this glue holds some stuff. I'm telling you, I tried some other stuff. I tried some non-cure stuff that just, all that's going to do is just give you wrinkles because the jewels were constantly moving and sliding, and they still do with this one a little bit, but if you put them in place and kind of hurry up and stick them into cure, you're usually good to go. So, and that's our glitter nail. That's easy peasy. You can put a couple coats of clear acrylic over that too if you don't like that gritty feeling. I've done that before too. So I will put a little music on and finish these nails out for you and get working on the next one. So everybody have a great day. Be kind. And I'll see you later. Cutsy out.
I've tried 100 times, but it's so hard to leave when there's no love in here, but there's still chemistry. When I shut my eyes to shut you out, but can't think of anything except your touch. Oh, moving on, it's just a lie. You can't run from something on the inside. When I shut my eyes to shut you out, but can't think of anything except your touch. Oh, moving on, it's just a lie. You can't run from something on the inside. Even if I try to walk away, you got me good. I can't explain, even though I should. I just can't say I'll get over you. I keep on playing the same think that I could be a different person and move along, you stop me on my way. Every time I think that I could learn to find some reason, there's a fever in my brain. Is it love? Is it love? Is it love? It makes me stay. Is it love? Is it enough? Is it love? It makes me feel this way. Even if I try to walk away, you got me good. I can't explain. Even though I should, I just can't say I'll get over you. I keep on playing. Even if I try to walk away, you got me good. I can't explain. Even though I should, I just can't say I'll get over you. I keep on playing the same three lines of the riddle, the same part in this game, the same song that keeps shaking my heart. 'Cause it feels so good when I break. The same three lines of the riddle, the same part in this game, the same song that keeps shaking my heart. 'Cause it feels so good when I break. Even if I try to walk away, even though I should, I just can't say I'll get over you. I keep on playing